Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And I'll tell you what, we saw a little bit of everything out there today. About 1 to 3 inches of snow overnight in the Wenatchee Valley. It began in the evening hours last night. We woke up to that snow and then it rained for a while. We saw a little bit of sunshine around the noon hour or so, but this is from this afternoon looking down from our monitor Sky-Fi tower camera. What a beautiful shot of those low-hanging clouds, cascades above those clouds, and then the clouds move back in. We're not done with the wet stuff yet, but as this storm moves out and high pressure builds in, we're going to see a very windy day tomorrow. In fact, all of us in our viewing area, Waterville Plateau, Columbia Basin, also you folks up in the Methow Valley and here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're talking winds out of the west, sometimes 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts possibly between 30 and 40 miles an hour. Power outages and downed trees, a definite possibility. And we'll tell you more about those winds coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The driver who struck a pedestrian in a Wenatchee crosswalk back in November must serve just over 10 months in jail. As has been the case for much of the COVID-19 pandemic, people looking for a chance to get away from it all have clogged recreation areas in north central Washington. And some good news, but mainly bad, in the latest real estate snapshot from Pacific Appraisal Associates. But first we begin tonight. That wet, heavy snow that fell overnight in the Wenatchee Valley caused power outages for thousands of customers as crews responded to numerous reports of downed lines and trees. Chelan County PUD spent much of the morning restoring power to customers in Cashmere, Manson, the south shore of Lake Chelan, Lake Wenatchee, Peshastin and Dryden, and some points between. The PUD said its outage phone line was overwhelmed with customers calling in this morning. Because of the outage and snow, many schools had online classes only today, with some canceling school altogether. The driver who struck a pedestrian at a Wenatchee crosswalk back in November must serve just over 10 months in jail. Timothy Brian Shales, who's 57, struck a woman with his pickup in the intersection of 5th Street and North Emerson Avenue, then drove away. He pleaded guilty Monday to vehicular assault, and Chelan County Superior Court Judge Leslie Allen imposed a sentence of 10.5 months. Shales was intoxicated at the time of the November hit and run and has a previous DUI conviction. Well, as has been the case for much of the COVID-19 pandemic, people looking for a chance to get away from it all have clogged recreation areas in north central Washington. Last weekend, the Kittitas County Sheriff's Office said they responded to numerous reports of trespassing, traffic hazards, and unlawful parking at recreation areas off I-90 leading to Snoqualmie Pass. As a result, Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers ordered extra patrols and deputies wrote dozens of tickets. Myers said the problem isn't expected to go away anytime soon, so extra patrols will be out again trying to keep the throngs at bay. Well, some good news, but mainly bad news in the latest real estate snapshot from Pacific Appraisal Associates. The good news is that the total home sales in December were up 29% compared to the same time last year, with 90 sold this year and 70 in December of 2019. Now, the not so good news. New home listings were down 14% compared to last year, and active listings were down a whopping 74% last month compared to December 2019, with 121 homes listed in 2019 and only 31 last December. The year-to-date median sales price of a home in the Wenatchee Valley also went up 6% in December of 2020 to now $372,250. That's compared to $349,000 for a home in December of 2019. The Wenatchee real estate market consists of Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Malaga, Orondo, and Rock Island. Coming up next, a trail leading into the Alpine Lakes Wilderness area near Leavenworth will be closed much of the next 2 months as an old bridge is removed and replaced with a new one. The Eastmont School District will return grades 5, 6, and 7 to classrooms next week. The Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce has announced finalists for its 2020 Business of the Year and Nonprofit of the Year awards. And a Wenatchee public health executive starts his second term with the state board that oversees health insurance plans for Washington. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today I can eat corn on the cob, I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Welcome back. In another news, a trail leading into the Alpine Lakes Wilderness area near Leavenworth will be closed much of the next 2 months as an old bridge is removed and replaced with a new one. The Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest says a start date for the project hasn't been determined, but the work is likely to be between January 15th and March 7th. The trail will be closed at the Snow Lakes trailhead with no alternative route for crossing that creek. Chelan County and the Icicle-Pashastin Irrigation District are contracting out the work to replace the bridge, which is just a few hundred feet from the trailhead. The bridge is being replaced so improvements and repairs can be made to a fish screen in the irrigation canal that's about a quarter mile from the trailhead. Because of the time of year, the Forest Service expects the impact to users to be minimal. The Eastmont School District will return grades 5, 6, and 7 to classrooms next week. Superintendent Garn Christensen made that announcement yesterday. The students will attend classes all day on alternating days starting Tuesday, January 19th. A format the lower grades will also now follow. Christensen said the goal is to get the rest of the students in junior high and high school back to classes January 25th, but that return is still tentative. Half-day classroom instruction began Monday for Wenatchee School District 4th graders, with plans to return 5th graders on January 20th and middle and high school students on January 26th. The Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce has announced finalists for its 2020 Business of the Year and Nonprofit of the Year awards. For Business of the Year, the 3 finalists are the Heidi Huddle Allstate Insurance Agency, Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort, and Numerica Credit Union. For Nonprofit of the Year, the 3 finalists are Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance, the Wenatchee Downtown Association, and the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. The winners will be announced at the Chamber's annual banquet coming up on March 4th. Well, a Wenatchee public health executive starts his second term with the state board that oversees health insurance plans for Washington. John Chapman is the Deputy Director of the North Central Accountable Community of Health, which coordinates health policy and strategy in the 4 North Central Washington counties. On Friday, Governor Jay Inslee announced Chapman's reappointment to the State Health Benefit Exchange Board, which decides which insurance plans can be offered under Washington's Medicaid program. He was first appointed back in 2019. Yvonne Boosler-White of OMAC also received a new appointment to the Governor's Committee on Disability Issues and Employment. Both appointments run for the next 2 years. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's featured story, Confluence Health infectious disease specialist Dr. Mark Johnson said Central Washington Hospital is struggling to treat a surge of COVID-19 patients. In part 2 of his interview with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz, Johnson said this is the moment in the pandemic that will make or break us.
I'll start by saying things right now in the hospital are atrocious. I mean, this virus is a killer, and we are struggling. And it's hard sometimes when you're out and about in town. It's not tangible. You don't feel it. But rest assured, this is a public health emergency unlike any we've seen in recent times in the United States. And this is the worst respiratory viral pandemic in 102 years. So things are terrible. But vaccines, especially these vaccines showing very good efficacy, gives us an option. It gives us a way forward. And so this is the time to act. And so this is an incredible opportunity to change the tide of the pandemic now with vaccines rolling out. But it also carries with it a profound responsibility to ourselves, to our neighbors, to our friends and loved ones. This is the moment in the pandemic that will make or break us. And I can't stress it enough that these vaccines, they are safe, they are effective, they are not experimental. They have gone through the gold standard that other vaccines get FDA approval. The red tape of several years that usually lead to approval, we don't have time for that. And so they've gone through the gold standard randomized clinical trials of a large number of people. And this is our moment to act.
All right, time now to take a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. Man, we just saw a little bit of everything today, didn't we? Let's take a look outside our weather window. You can't see a whole lot right now. I'm assuming you're right. This is still the monitor camera. We did show you this in the afternoon hours today, and then, boy, it really clouded up again as we made our way through the newscast. We actually saw some sun at times today, and that did allow our temperatures to climb just a little bit. Unofficially today, 38 degrees. Boy, it stayed at about 34 all day long, and that's where we should be for a normal high for this time of year. This morning, 30 degrees, 24 is our normal. Record high back in 1999, where we saw a beautiful 53 degrees, and a record low just 4 years ago in 2017 when we were 2 below zero. Okay, almost a half inch of moisture. That includes what we saw last night and throughout today, and that's 0.47 inches, and that now gets us to almost an inch of moisture for the year. And just think about that for a second. Last year, we picked up just over 5 inches of moisture for the year, and already we are a fifth way to our total from last year. Unbelievable. Sunrise, 7:45 this morning, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:34. All right, we talked a lot about the atmospheric river. I showed you a slide yesterday. This is putting that atmospheric river, it's just a big moisture river is what it is, and this is what it was doing. This is kind of towards the end of our forecast, but the river started here and pointed right at us. You can see that, and that's what began the rain showers and all the activity last night. And you just saw, here's an area of high pressure, and that's a ridge that's going to slowly build, and that's going to kind of kink off that hose and shut off our moisture as we move into tomorrow. Let's check on now what our tomorrow's highs look like. The big news for tomorrow, with high pressure and low pressure very close to each other, it's going to pack those isobaric pressure bars together, and that means a very windy day, especially Columbia Basin. You can see gusts around 50 miles an hour. I think the rest of us about 30 to 35 mile an hour gusts, and expect steady wind speeds tomorrow between 20 and 25 miles an hour. Surface loop, let's go to tonight now. Windy overnight, that will develop. This is what's coming our way for Wednesday. We still will see kind of a wet evening with an 80% chance for more evening rain. Tonight's lows in the low 40s, so we're not going to all change all that much. In fact, we're going to go up a little bit as we make our way through the night. And here's tomorrow, lots of wind, west 20 to 25 miles an hour, gusty, and look at all of this wind in Montana and back into the panhandle of Idaho. Don't travel east if you are going anywhere tomorrow. For Wednesday then, mostly sunny as we mentioned. Temperatures luckily will still be very mild. For Thursday, less wind as low pressure and high pressure move away from each other. Here's our big ridge, and that's going to allow some pretty mild temperatures for us on Thursday, with highs generally in the upper 30s to around 40. Friday, partly cloudy skies, high pressure still anchored out in the Pacific. Temperatures will remain above normal as we get into the end of the week. And boy, this weekend looks very nice with a very quiet weather pattern setting up our way. Mostly cloudy, high temperatures once again Saturday, mainly upper 30s, lower 40s. For Sunday, mostly sunny and unseasonably warm. It should be a great way to end our weekend. We're talking highs warming into the lower 40s on Sunday, and that goes for a big chunk of almost all of Washington. And then as we get into the final day of our forecast on Martin Luther King Day on Monday, partly cloudy skies, still mild, with afternoon high temperatures once again upper 30s and lower 40s. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast. Tonight, 37 degrees. How about that for a low? That's 3 degrees above our high temperature for this time of year. 45 tomorrow, maybe a morning rain shower. It's not going to matter. It is going to be so windy tomorrow out of the west, so keep that in mind. 38 Thursday and Friday, 39 your high on Saturday. And look at those temperatures as we get into the first part of next week. Mostly sunny Sunday and 43, 41, and partly cloudy on Monday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Dan Kuntz and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for takeout. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner takeout.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
The 2021 models are arriving at Sangster Motors. General Motors is on the move with the all-new 2021 Yukon. Yukon is redesigned from the ground up with a bold new look and all the latest technology. Also new is the Canyon AT4 pickup. This off-road equipped mid-size truck will challenge any rival for performance and value. Both of these models will offer Duramax diesel options for maximum power and economy. The American Challenge is game on at Sangster Motors now.
If you want to learn more about the world of real estate here in North Central Washington, we have you covered at home with NCWLIFE. Join Crystal Hughes for a weekly dive into all things real estate. She'll sit down with agents, home inspectors, and professionals from throughout the real estate industry to help you either buy, sell, build, or improve your home. That's at home with NCWLIFE. Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 and throughout the week here on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kerry Condada. This is the 12th District TV show, aired 8 times every week on NCWLIFE TV. We cover business and politics like no one else does it because I've been there and done it. 30 years self-employed, 16 years in the House of Representatives, and 12 years running campaigns across the state of Washington. That resume means you're getting information you can't get anywhere else. This is the 12th District. I'm Kerry Condada.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
I'm Dan Kuntz, once again filling in for Eric Granstrom. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. It was an entertaining game for about a quarter, and then Alabama had its way after that. The Tide rolls to a 52-24 win, and they are the national champions of college football. Mac Jones, he threw for 464 yards, 5 touchdowns to lead Alabama. The Heisman Trophy winner, Devonta Smith, caught 12 balls, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. He only played half the game. Najee Harris carried 22 times for 79 yards, a couple of touchdowns on the ground. Alabama rolls up 660 yards of total offense. In fact, it was even more than that. Alabama's 6th national championship in the past 12 years. For Coach Nick Saban, it's national championship number 7. He surpasses Paul Bear Bryant for the most national championships in college football. Now that the Seahawks season is over, it's time to address off-season needs. And for Coach Pete Carroll, he said his number one concern is to keep players safe amid the pandemic.
There's a lot that we dealt with, and these guys are going to continue to deal with, staying healthy. And we've been after it all year long, and that's a major concern right now, that everybody goes home, and when those that leave the area, that they take the lessons that they've learned and the discipline that they've acquired, and share it with their families and the people that they're going to be around, and be really, really careful how things move forward. That has not lost its emphasis during the course of this year, and so that's the start of the message to them is we got to take what you've learned and what how you've grown in your awareness and your conscience, and maintain it.
Seahawks had several players who were playing hurt down the stretch, and that includes Jamal Adams. And according to Pete Carroll, Jamal Adams is going to have some off-season surgery.
The juice that he brought, the competitiveness, the attitude of toughness, you just couldn't miss it. He was banged up a good part of the season. He was hurt, and he played really hurt in this last game, and he found a way to do it, and we thought it would be better. There was a question, is he going to be able to play effective enough to let him play? But his will was so strong, and he just didn't want to, he just would be denied on it, and I wanted him to be part of it. But he had to struggle through some plays in this game, as you see when you watch closely. His toughness is just undeniably there. I mean, he is unbelievably, he might have self-proclaimed the warrior mentality or whatever he said about himself. That's the truth. That's what he lives up to, and that's what he is. So he's a great player. We got to keep his shoulders healthier. We got to pump him up, get him built up. He's going to have surgery for a labrum issue that happened last week, and going to get his fingers fixed. He's got some work to do. He's one of the guys that gets out of here, and he's got a lot of stuff to take into account before he gets back. But what a great addition to the team.
The Seahawks have 30 free agents, including 8 starters, so now it's decision time. They want to keep them Or do you want to let him go? Carroll says he'd like to keep Chris Carson around, Carlos Hyde, KJ Wright, Shaquille Griffin. Shaquille Griffin says if he had his way, he'd finish his career as a Seahawk.
It's tough right now. I know at the end of the day everything is a business, but the good thing is the coaching staff, the guys here, this organization know how much I love to be here, know how much this place means to me for giving me my first opportunity at least to be in this situation, in this predicament now. So, I owe them everything because of it. So they know I want to be here. So at this point, I'm just praying on it. I'm hoping for the best. And, hopefully everything works out, knowing that hopefully I can be a Seahawk forever. So hoping for the best.
KJ Wright wasn't even sure he'd be playing in his 10th season in the NFL, but he did play. He played good. And he says he has a lot to offer, and he'd love to return to the Seahawks and patrol the defensive backfield.
That's up to, Pete and John. They know how much I mean to this team. They know that I'm a baller. They know I'm a great teammate, a great leader. And it would be a great investment, in my opinion, if they invest in KJ and to bring him back in the building. And so, you get what you pay for, and I bring a lot to the table still. And so they got to choose wisely.
Bobby Wagner is not only his teammate, he's also KJ Wright's best friend, and Bobby Wagner says KJ has earned another season with the Seahawks.
I think what he's been able to do has been extremely impressive. I think he had a pretty crazy injury, then to come back to have, one of his best seasons, and then to play even better the following year, with his position change and things like that. I think it just shows his versatility, shows how smart he is. It shows how much he cares about, everybody in the building. And, he's just a great person, a great leader, and, definitely feel like he's somebody that needs to be back next year. And, I look forward to seeing him back.
Coach Carroll's parting words on what he wants to see in the offseason, the Seahawks defense continuing to improve and the offensive running game improving a lot more. Of course, the Seahawks do not have a first-round or a third-round draft pick in the upcoming NFL draft. They traded that away to the Jets so they could get Jamal Adams. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday. Grant, back to you.
Nicely done, Dan. Thank you very much. And I'll give you a chance here to get into the position. Okay, now let's check in again with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Join me tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Last week I had a chance to visit with our good friends Paul Gordon and Martin Barron. Paul Gordon is the superintendent of the Wenatchee School District. Martin Barron is the vice president of the Wenatchee School Board. And the Wenatchee School District is floating a EP&O levy for voters to decide on Tuesday, February 9th. They're going to give you the information you need so you can be an informed voter. That conversation on tomorrow's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, plus your weather, your passes, your sports, your news, and everything you need to start your Wednesday, which is live and local with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. from this very studio. Grant, back to you.
Thanks again, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.